Okay, Funke, welcome to our studios, our Magoni studios. Very happy to have you on our show.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much. Now, there's something called 2019 that's coming. Nigerians are very aware of 2019 coming. A new round of elections and all of that. And I imagine that women are going to be ready. I hear that in Nigeria, only about 6% of parliament is women, compared to like 23% for other African countries. So, you've been championing efforts in this area, looking at gender balancing and those kinds of issues. So as far as you are concerned, when you look towards 2019 and these things that are going to be happening, what is the nature of preparedness for women? What are the things that women are looking at as their key issues? Is it representation? Is it particular issues? What are the big things for women as we start to look towards 2019?
Thank you. I think that's a very critical question. When you say our level of preparedness, I would want to say that, well, the stakes are higher now. We've lost quite a number of women from 2007 when we had our highest percentage, and that was 11% of women in parliament. Now the stakes are higher because we've lost, we're just 5.5, not even up to 6%. We have just 7 women in the Senate, 20 in the House of Reps. Nationally, we have 991 legislators and we just have 59 women in all the states. We've got about 15 states with not even one woman in the state parliament. So that's very, very strange for a country that should be leading in Africa. The regional average for representation of women in parliament is 19%. We're way below that.
The region meaning West Africa?
West Africa,
okay.
Yes, 19%. Yeah. We're way below.
So that means they do a little better in East Africa than in West Africa.
Of course.
Okay.
We have countries like Rwanda with over 40, 50%.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
So for level of preparedness, I would say now we know that the stakes are higher and we need to do something to begin to reverse the trend. Like I said earlier, it was from 2007 that the numbers started going down. And I think women now know they need to start early. They need to begin to build alliances and networks across political divides. There's one thing we're doing right now with the women, and we're saying women have one party now, and it's the Women's Party of Nigeria. So we're having women supporting each other across party lines. If a woman is coming up for re-election,
no matter what the issue is,
and you are in that state, you must
even if the woman is no good, once she's a woman, we just support her.
Well, the issue is that the goalpost always change for women. I haven't ever had men talk about quality whenever a man is running for office. I can't say that every man in political position, any decision-making position right now is ably qualified. But I find those questions coming up whenever it has to do with women, So that means that we've got to do better. So when a man is giving 100%, we've got to give 120% or even 150.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't sacrifice quality, on the altar of mediocrity, of course. But I think that for now, the focus is every person, no matter the quality, has a shot at leadership. And democracy is government of the people, for the people, by the people, not governments of the people, for intelligent people, by qualified people. It's still for everyone. If you're a player, you can get the votes. I think you have a right to win. But the most important thing right now is to begin to look for entry points where we can even get women, to leave the single digits that we currently occupy, 5.5%.
So this 5.5%, what's caused it? I mean, is it because women are not prepared? Women don't have the skills to be able to be there? Women are not politically strong enough, economically strong enough, socially strong enough, or somebody is restraining them. Somebody is pushing them back. What causes? Why is it that it's 5.5% when the regional average, as you said, was 19%? We're 5.5% in Nigeria. What was the reason for that?
I think that we need to first look at the issue from the perspective of political will. Every country that has had an increase in the number of women in parliament have had to target policies towards that. It didn't happen by chance, apart from Rwanda, where the genocide, of course, made it possible for more women to be in parliament. Yeah. Every other country has made a conscious effort to ensure that there's parity and there's inclusion of women in decision making. Until Nigeria decides to do that would continue to have this downslide. Now, in 1999, we had just 3 women in parliament. In 2003, we grew to 7. In 2007, it was our best year ever. It was 11%. By 2011, the stakes started, the space started shrinking. More people became aware. Even in 1999, most of the elites weren't interested in politics. We left it to just anyone who was interested. People weren't very aware. By 2011, the awareness came on board. And of course, you mentioned money. It became a game of numbers and money. And a lot of women do not have the kind of resources. And when I say resources, not just financial resources, they're talking about networks and alliances and negotiations that go on in political parties. When these negotiations come in, women are not even at the table at all. And when you're not at the table, you're taking decision, you're probably on the menu. So,
Okay, but that's now the point I'm trying to make is this: that is it because the women feel that they are not capable?
No, not at all.
So it is that people, they're trying to run.
They're trying to run.
But what's happening?
Coming to the point of internal party democracy. The political parties themselves haven't come to the realization that men and women are both equal partners and players in the game. Now, the parties are the ones who give you the tickets to run.
Yeah.
So what has happened in the past is they'll say, okay, women come, pick up tickets, nomination forms and all that, and don't pay. When it comes down to it, that in itself is a catch-22 situation, because I've heard from women that when it now comes to selecting a candidate or nominating a candidate to run for a particular office, the women become the fall guys, because they'll tell them, no, you didn't contribute, you didn't pay for your party ticket. So internal party democracy for me is key, for the parties themselves to recognize that we need to give create spaces for women, have entry points for women to even come and pass up. It has
but why do you think that? Why would parties do that in Nigeria now? That is where it is dominated by men. Why would men sit down and just say, "Well, we're looking for women. We need to have women to be." Why would they do that? But for the sake of getting what? As far as the men are concerned.
Well, we started selling the ideology that men and women bring different things to the table.
Yeah.
And we probably are where we are today because we've been taking decisions from one side of our brain, and only a few set of people have been taking decisions. Women bring something unique, something special and different to the table. I think first we need to recognize the uniqueness that women bring to the table as decision makers, that we're complementary partners in nation building. Yes. And if we are preaching sustainable development, sustainable growth, and then we should think of bringing everybody along. It's just like even for persons with disability, they are part of the country. And if we want to practice democracy in the actual sense of the word, everyone should be on the table. That brings me to the issue of political will. We need an electoral law that actually makes provision for vulnerable persons to participate in governance. When you make it a priority of government and you make it a law, political parties will fall in line. They would have no.
But I like the point that you made, that we want to bring women in so that we can be better off. Exactly. Because that way, basically, we're utilizing all of our resources. Maybe our men folk don't quite get that yet. That we need to optimize the use of our resources. Let's use everybody. Let's make sure that the women are contributing, because there are some things that they can bring to the table that the men are not bringing to the table. So, and that also means perhaps that we need to have standout women. Do we have that? Like women that stand out in society to say, hey, this is what I can do, either because they have the money or because they've got the intellect or because they've got something. Is that an issue that we're looking at? Okay, we want women to be there, but just like with men, sometimes when we're looking at presidential candidate, we say, who are the people? Do people say where are the women? Is that discussion, does it happen? Well, are we having that conversation?
It's been happening for years. In fact, in one of the southwest states, we heard of a governor who once said that he needed 5 female commissioners and he couldn't find women who were capable, who were available, those 2 words. And when women cried out, he said the women who actually were part of his campaign were mostly the market women, and that they didn't have the kind of capacity he needed for them to be commissioners. And so those questions always come up. But in defense of that, what we say is that we've got these women. We just need to identify these women, not necessarily to find them. My office, for instance, has been doing something. We've been profiling women whom in all sectors, in power, oil and gas, finance, in all sorts of sectors and players, high players that are women, that we could say these are professional women that could run for office. They might not necessarily be interested in politics for now.
But that's the problem, because they have to. That's the point I'm trying to make. They have to come out
interested.
No, but you have to say I am before people say thou art. So let the women come out and say I want to run.
People don't know. So let me use myself as an example.
Yes, I was going to come to you because I know you're going to run for office. You have to run for office, but go ahead.
Five years ago, I would never be working in an office that had something to do with women's political participation. I've always worked on inclusion of women and girls in ICT, education, healthcare, but politics, no. But then I had, what would I call it, an epiphany one day, and I said, you're just beating a dead horse. If you really want changes in this sector, if you really want women not to get the short end of the stick like we're currently getting in all these sectors, then you need to be at the policy level. You need to be playing with the big boys. You need to be working with policymakers and pushing more women who can advocate for social issues, because men are more economic in nature, but women are more social in nature.
Absolutely.
So if you want to build social infrastructure, you want government to focus on issues that actually impact on the lives of people, then you need to get the kind of leaders that will do that. And unfortunately for us, the process that turns up our leaders is very flawed. So it's flawed in the sense that the people who can actually do good for our country don't get there.
On that note, I want to thank you so very much.
Thank you for having me.
You are wonderful.
Thank you.
Great job.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.